Why do people listen to Touch Your
Because it's a thing.
All right.
You know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
No idea what you're talking about.
Here's more of The Thing on the Sports Hub.
We are Toucher and Hardy, and the Celtics are no longer playing basketball. They lost in a Game 7 to the Philadelphia 76ers. They are up 3-1 in that series. Joel Embiid did not play the first 3 games of that series. And Jaylen Brown, we played Sean Grande yesterday, which was very upsetting to me because he had the whole season been saying sarcastically, which he admits to, that it was a gap year, and how correctly wrong everyone was for thinking that the team would not succeed without Jason Tatum, that they would struggle without Jason Tatum. They proved everyone wrong.
And everybody called it a gap year at the start, and then I started doing it satirically.
Right. He was doing it satirically because the satire in it was, look at how dumb everyone is. First of all, I think Sean might have coined the phrase gap year, but the thing was how foolish everyone was not to believe in this team. And with every victory became more of a sort of posturing as if you were all these idiots out there that didn't think the team was going to be any good. And fair enough, the team was way better. But when you do that all year, when the team loses a Game 7 against a play-in team that they were incredibly favored against, you can't then at that moment choose to say,
stop getting excited about this team and enjoy the house money year.
Yeah, now it's a house money year. He realizes.
And by excited, he means angry.
Yeah. No, he says, still stay excited about this team.
Stop getting excited about this team and enjoy the house money year.
How is it a house money year anymore if Tatum was back and playing well? What was house money about that? Washburn, who we're going to talk to today in a next segment, has an article out about how the window for Brown and Tatum, I mean, you lose years of this. I mean, each year is another year. It gets less and less likely that you're going to get multiple championships, obviously. I mean, if they don't make the Eastern Conference Finals last year, I would imagine that they'll fire Missoula. And, there could be even moves this offseason. Who knows? Not with firing Missoula, but moves this offseason maybe to shake this team up a little bit. Apparently they have money and things of that nature. But I did find that, and look, Grandy's good at play-by-play, and I could understand if he doesn't like me. I make fun of him all the time. We were going to play that audio because I had gotten emails that he referenced the show, which is, in this case, me, because I'm the one who makes fun of him. My whole strategy was I was just going to go fair enough. I could see. If I'm him, I wouldn't like me either. I make fun of him. And he doesn't seem to have the best sense of humor, which makes it all the more fun to make fun of him. But I will tell you this, is that you cannot, and I wish I almost didn't make fun of Grandy so much because you really can't. You cannot do that. You can't make your whole identity of this holier-than-thou guardian of the Celtics and then turn around in the minute they lose go, I didn't mean any of that. You can't, right? It's really bad. You can't do that at all. The whole year you were so condescending about how no one believed in him. Without it being said, you're inferring that
Nobody
believed
picked the Celtics ahead of the Sixers.
His point was before the year, no one picked the Celtics ahead of the Sixers, which say that is true. Yeah, then the year happened, right? The year happened. The Bruins, the Bruins are a totally different example. The Bruins lost. It's disappointing, and I thought they could beat Buffalo. I thought they would beat Buffalo. I mean, I didn't put money on it, but I thought they could, or they would, but they didn't. But then you go, okay, well, they weren't supposed to do anything at all. They're not anywhere near a championship window, so good. Then they'll just, theoretically, there's no way they'll be worse next season, right? Theoretically, on paper, there's no way that they would be worse next season. But the Celtics, number 2 seed in the East, you were the favorite to come out of the East, and then you lose to an inferior team when you were up 3-1. You lose at home 3 games at home, and then you just turn around and go, I didn't mean any of that before. Everything for all year, my whole act was just that, an act. Who's he trying to appease? Is there pressure on you as a broadcaster, Jonathan?
Nope.
I don't really understand it. I don't get it. Anyway.
Whatever anybody says now, whatever they pretend, changing history.
What? Yeah, changing history. History changed. Yes, before the season, people thought that the Celtics could be even a play-in team. Then the season happened.
They quickly changed that narrative, and Jaylen Brown had an incredible regular season. Joe Mazzulla did a great job of coaching all these guys. And, yes, they were the number 2 seed in the East, but they quickly were accepted as the favorite, the best team in the East. Pathway wide open
Had national
to get back
guys,
to the finals.
national guys calling for them to make the NBA Finals.
Right.
Yes.
Okay.
And that goes from that to
Stop getting excited about this team and enjoy the house money year.
Yeah, it's just it just really annoys me. It really annoys me because the whole year wagging his finger and talking down, and then they lose. The only team, by the way, that lost their home game 7. Everyone else managed to win. Teams that are worse than you all managed to win. I mean, would you? Who? I mean, Orlando had injuries, but the Pistons were down 3-1, and they looked terrible. And they were down 20 in Game 6 and managed to win that game.
With your best player, some would argue your only real bona fide, A-list player had a punctured lung a few weeks ago.
Yeah, and he missed the whole end of the season, and they managed to hang on to that number 1 seed. And whatever, they were down 3-1 in that series, and they managed to win. I mean...
Yeah, there's only one team that was favored that struggled, and that was Denver.
Right. Yeah.
But they lost in 6. They didn't lose a home game 7.
Well, I mean, and now the whole story in Denver is getting rid of Jamal Murray. So, there's a price to pay for Denver. Listen, Denver's not skating away from this. Denver's in big trouble. I mean, Anthony Edwards isn't playing, and you still lose to Minnesota. That's a whole issue.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, so Jaylen Brown got on Twitch, and he was streaming on Sunday, and he streamed for a long time. These are cherry-picked things. But he had this to say.
This is my personal opinion on basketball. Some of y'all might disagree.
It's a person's opinion. There's no question. It is. He is a person.
This is my personal opinion on basketball. Some of y'all might disagree. You know what I mean? But argue with your grandma. Flopping has ruined our game.
But she's dead.
Oh. Did you cry at your grandmother's funeral?
My grandmother, my dad's mom was just in a box in their closet forever. I don't even remember her funeral. But my mom's mom, I had to sit at an open viewing for no joke 8 hours. And so, yeah, being around, I did tear up because being around the dead body for that, plus my grandfather freaked out, but being around that dead body for that long started to mess with me. Around hour 7, I started to it's too much time to think about how it's never going to move again. It being the dead body.
Right.
The soul is very much alive, the energy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, right on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
So, but no, I've obviously been upset when people have died. But, my grandmother was super old. But being in the room with the dead body that long kind of messed with me. I wouldn't suggest it. I don't know why they had me sit in that room.
How old were you?
21.
Oh, well, because you're a grown person. That's why.
Yeah, but I don't know why 8 hours is necessary. For you to sit in the room with a dead body.
How much
for 8
time
hours.
to grieve? There's no stopwatch on it, Fred.
No, but I would have liked to stop watching how long I had to be in the immediate proximity of a dead body that was consistently in my peripheral. That I would have. That I struggled to see the merit of.
Were you allowed to get up and get a soda or something?
No, but I can tell you what happened that night. Is that my father and I went to a bar to watch the Jets were playing Oakland on Monday Night Football or whatever, Oakland or Los Angeles, wherever the hell they were. And a woman was super drunk and hit on my father.
Nice.
Which was really something else.
How did he handle it?
Oh, you could tell he's been through this before.
Get away from me. I'm with my kid.
He banged her.
Oh.
Yeah. He said, "Do you have a friend for my son?"
Death is, a sneaky aphrodisiac.
Yeah. I'll never forget
horny.
that.
Wow.
I'll never forget that for the rest of my life. Because I know I was at least 21 because I could drink. And my dad was not the kind to let me drink if I wasn't 21. Mm-hmm. So I know that I drank. And I just know that there was this super, super drunk lady that was like really hitting on my dad. And my dad is no Casanova, let's be honest. I mean, I came out of him. He can't be that good looking a guy. Now you say, Fred, that's not true.
Absolutely.
Hey. All right.
Flopping has ruined our game. Joel Embiid is a great player, one of the best bigs in basketball history. Flops. He know it. This ain't breaking news. This ain't, you know what I mean? It is what it is. I can clip it up. Like I said, y'all can post it on these paid accounts that y'all, these bot, whatever. That's just my opinion.
Yes, the AI is very much after Jaylen Brown. It is why it was invented. And here is Kendrick Perkins. He is on, you'll find this hard to believe, a podcast. I hear that it's not great audio quality. This is how we got it. It's not our fault. He's on a podcast where there's people milling about in the back. So here, it's going to bother you, Hardy, is all I'm saying.
Okay.
So here's Kendrick Perkins on Jaylen Brown saying that Embiid flopped.
JB, I get it, bro. Like, the villain role, you not being invited to USA basketball. We don't see you on a lot of commercials because you're highly educated, graduated from Cal, know your history, you speak your mind, you speak your truth, which may turn off a lot of...
You know why he had to go to Cal? Because he ran afoul in some trouble, and that Cal was the only people that were still offering.
That was, yeah. He got some ticket with an expired license or registration, and he got arrested. I mean, he lives in near Atlanta. Got arrested, and about 5 or 6 schools dropped out. And during his senior year, and Cal was the only school to step in.
I'm not doubting it. I'm just genuinely curious. Did he graduate from Cal?
He went 1 year to Cal before he entered the draft, so I don't know the answer to that. I would probably say no, but I'm not sure.
Some football player that went to Georgia, a good football player just graduated from Georgia. So there's a chance he graduated. He certainly didn't graduate as a full-time student.
No.
But there is a chance. Cal's a very good school. Their fans love to chase Dr. McGillicuddy's with lemonade.
Well, you don't want to get too tuned up. You gotta maintain.
I'll tell you, BC Cal, it was a real Met Gala. It was models everywhere.
ACC.
It was the Met Gala.
Bitter rivals.
It actually was the Met Gala now. It was a bunch of tech people. So, yes, it was the Met Gala now. See, I got my finger on the pulse of the Met Gala.
Brands and stuff like that from doing deals with you. I understand, and I applaud you when it comes to that part. But this right here that you talking, you can miss me with all this. You up 3-1. Your ass flops at times to sell calls. I don't want to hear that. It was no agenda whatsoever. The agenda was that y'all couldn't make shots. The agenda was that y'all refused to switch up y'all style of play of shooting threes after threes after threes when at times y'all could have drove the damn basketball and went got some layups or put some pressure on the referees. The referees are not going to give the Celtics calls because they shoot a lot of jump shots. If you're a team that's aggressive, guess what? You put pressure on the referees. You're a team that's not aggressive. You live by the 3, you die by the 3.
That is a good point. I mean, if you're not going to the basket, I don't know how many fouls you're going to pick up. If you're just launching threes in the fourth quarter, you're not going to get fouled.
Or if you're losing the handle on the basketball, the second you get into the paint and you don't get a shot up, you're not going to get that call either.
The other part of this, and we talked about it during the series, Jaylen Brown is one of the better drivers to the basket in the league. He's clearly the best the Celtics had, but because of the defense Paul George played on him, he couldn't get there. Mm-hmm. He couldn't get to the basket to draw the fouls. He was cut off before he could do that, and that forced him to take more jumpers. Celtics fire up a lot of threes. And I agree. You're not going to get a ton of calls if you stand out on the perimeter.
And just so everyone's on the same page, Brown had 3 fouls in Game 7. It's not like he was dealing with foul issues and foul trouble and that it was in any way influencing play or his playing time. I mean, he was not in any foul trouble.
How many? I know, but it's not like he was complaining about the foul trouble as much as he was getting called for the offensives. Do you know how many of those 3 were offensives?
No.
Yeah, I don't either.
But it doesn't really matter. It's 3 possessions.
Only in his narrative. And he would, I'm sure, further argue he had to change the way he played as a result of those offensive foul calls.
This is the way the game is played. I mean, the Celtics had one of the best floppers of all time, and Marcus Smart play for this team for how long? I mean, it just
not long enough.
This is the way it is done. You know, you flop. Embiid spends more time on the ground than a lot of players do, but he gets away with it. And a lot of players do. He's not the only one.
It's just an odd thing the day after you lost the Game 7 at home with a 3-1 lead in that series that you're pointing to the officiating and saying the referees had an agenda. What's the agenda? They wanted the Celtics to lose?
The same agenda that they've had. They called that series the same way as any other series, any other game.
You don't think the league wanted Celtics-Knicks? Like that's something that they didn't want?
A hell of a lot more juice than the series you got now.
It was certainly.
Y'all died by the 3. Y'all was up 3-1 in this series. You fucking lost 3 home games in the Boston Garden. 3. It used to be a sacred place. It used to be a hard place to win, for opponents to win games in there. But instead, Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid walked into your mother crib, shoes all muddy, when kick they feet up on your coffee table, or the DoorDash with your credit card. Right. That's how comfortable they was. Okay. Rubbing their toes, wiggling their toes together. So don't come telling me about an agenda that the league or the referees or anybody had towards y'all. The agenda was that y'all didn't protect home court. Y'all lost the game.
Is that all the Chappelle thing with
well, some of it, but
Rick James?
The feet weren't on the coffee table, the feet were on the couch. That sounded a little more personal from Kendrick. I think someone has come into his house and ordered DoorDash using his credit card.
And
that was oddly specific.
And it's interesting too because it looks like he has an Olive Garden in his house. If you've ever seen him broadcasting from home,
he's got the throne working.
From your lips to God's ears.
It looks like
awesome.
He has like a corner booth at Olive Garden. In his kitchen or wherever.
Tour of Northern Italy, yes please. I mean, endless salad bowl, bring it on.
And with the salad bowl comes bread. You know, I've never been to an Olive Garden.
You're
really? Come out to Natick. There's one right there.
I don't know if it's been proximity to them that's kept me away so much.
One in Avon. We can hit up IKEA afterward.
Yeah,
I've never been to IKEA.
You're double missing out.
I've been to IKEA. It's impossible to get out of that place. The only worth it to me were the Swedish meatballs at the end.
That's something to do with your mom and dad. But
good call.
When my mom is here for an extended visit, there will be an IKEA trip in there.
She's far more mobile than I would guess because anything where you have to walk around, I don't know if I'm taking both my parents. One, not both.
No,
it's a real Mr. Magoo times 2.
Y'all didn't want to make adjustments and go outside y'all comfort zone, and y'all kept shooting them dumbass 3-point shots because y'all had success doing it because y'all won the championship 2-3 years ago. And all of a sudden, you know what ended up happening? Jason Tatum gets hurt. So guess what? In the crucial Game 7, you don't have your partner in crime because y'all decided not to handle business. Take ownership, 0 excuses. I don't want to hear the shit. Philadelphia 76ers kicked y'all ass. They did what they were supposed to do. Y'all didn't do anything, starting from the coaches on down to you. To you, JB. And I love you. I voted you. You finished top 5 in my MVP voting. But y'all...
Well, that's not that big a...
top 5?
Yeah. I mean, big deal. Of course he finished top 5. Who else?
You may pick 4 guys in front of him?
Yeah, that doesn't mean much.
Didn't get it done, didn't cut the mustard. That's the agenda.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the agenda. Jaylen Brown, probably not a good idea the day after you lose a Game 7 to broadcast yourself live on the internet.
Yeah, despite the rude house guest metaphors, he's right. It is really unseemly to be complaining about the officials after that Game 7, especially when you factor back Game 4 or Game 5. I think it was Game 5 was the really egregious effort. And it, all right, didn't work. Try it again. Doesn't work. Don't change anything up. Can't shoot. Can't make a point. Can't adjust. Won't go into the paint. Can't figure out a way to get in there. And then after all of that, after all of your lackluster performances, to come out and say, the refs screwed us, and Joel Embiid is a flopper. While
that may be true,
it
doesn't matter.
But man, that guy was out there and played like after the questionable first game back. That guy took over,
and he flopped. Then that was the difference in the series, was his flopping. There was some incredibly egregious call that swung the series in the favor of the 76ers. I get it. It's annoying, probably.
Yeah, he got a few calls for sure.
He didn't win the game at the line.
And I know Brown had to guard him one-on-one a lot. But
yeah, no, they finally gave up. And Jaylen Brown had to guard him. Was it Game 7? It was maybe it was Game 7 where they wound up playing small. They had to.
Well, I think Brown was on him a couple games for long periods of time. So, because you always thought, why is Brown not taking advantage of it? But then they would just double team him, and then someone would be open. It wasn't a very strategically well played series by the Celtics. That's for sure.
They didn't have the personnel to do it. Is probably a better argument.
I don't know if they made proper adjustments. I think that they could have done something to switch things up.
They tried single coverage in one game, then they tried to double him in the next game, and he picked them apart with his passing. All I'm saying is you needed a better big man in this series.
Well, you don't have one, so you have to.
That's my point.
There's one more thing that Brown said we'll have to get to after we talk to Gary. We can do a little bit later, but something else that really rubbed me the wrong way.
All right. We'll be back in just a moment. Gary Washburn will be joining us. You've been aggravated since we turned the mics on.
I don't know what it is. I don't have time to think about that right now.
Pleasure and Hardy.
It's ridiculous.
The Sports Hub.
I mean, it was definitely a day-to-day thing. I mean, it sounds pretty vague, but, it was just something we would have assessed from day to day. It wasn't like a long-term thing. Like, I know for a fact I would have been able to play, if we'd have made it to the second round. So, yeah, we just take it day by day.
Gary Washburn is the national NBA writer for the Boston Globe. He is kind enough to join us this morning. Hello, Gary.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
It's going well. We were playing Sean Grandy at the end of the season, and he pivoted from teasing everyone about it being a gap year and reveling in the success of this team, just saying they were playing with house money at the end. Do you agree with that assessment?
No, I think expectations change once you win 56 games and you're the 2 seed and you face the 7 and you go up 3-1. You don't lose a series like that. You become the first Celtic team ever to blow a 3-1 series lead, and you lose to the Sixers in a playoff series for the first time in 44 years and say, oh, well, we weren't supposed to be here anyway. That's a loser's mentality. This is the Celtics, so you don't hang regular season banners and 56 wins in the Garden. So your expectations rose. It's okay to say we had a good regular season, but we didn't get it done in the playoffs. That's okay. We weren't supposed to be here anyway. Nah, I don't buy that mentality.
Right. So what was it? Could they have, we were talking about this a little bit earlier. They didn't have the right personnel to go up against the 76ers with Embiid? Was it the inability to just adjust game plan? What were the factors, in your opinion, that made them lose this series?
I thought the factors were arrogance in terms of, I believe in Game 5, they thought Philadelphia would lay down. I mean, you look at some of the other series, right? You look at New York playing at Atlanta, Game 6. The Hawks should be desperate to get a win, to force a Game 7 winner-take-all at the Garden, and Atlanta basically gave up, right? You look at the other 2 Game 7s with Toronto and with Orlando, both of them kind of took a step back and said, okay, we're done. We've given all we can give. And I truly think the Celtics thought Philadelphia was going to do that same thing. And that was, in a sense, understandable because Philadelphia hadn't shown that it was really, really ready to fight. They had lost 2 previous games by 32 points. But you let them in the game and you give up that third quarter lead and suddenly everything changes. Embiid finds himself, and then you go back for Game 6. And I thought that's when they lost the series, guys. No adjustments for Game 6. We'll just hit more shots. And when that didn't work, and then Tatum gets hurt, and suddenly Embiid finds himself, and so does Maxey, you have a real problem on your hands. And they've never been able to guard Tyrese Maxey during his time in the league. And they acted as if they had never played against Joel Embiid. And this team's had great success against Embiid in the past, but that was also with mostly Al Horford guarding him. And Keita just couldn't prove capable of staying on the floor. Vucevic, that ended up being a kind of a disastrous trade on the floor. So everything, all the elements worked into them getting eliminated.
So, Gary, you seem to be one of the few guys that's willing to ask Mazzulla about the three-point shooting, which he says he doesn't want to talk about anymore. But one of the answers he gave referenced the strength of the roster. Did you take that almost as like a backhanded comment about the roster? He did tons with it during the regular season, but almost as though it's like, well, what else do you want me to do with this collection of guys? Of course, we had to keep shooting threes.
I do think that was one of the reasons, but I also think they designed their roster to add shooters, to try to make three-pointers, to try to play this style. You don't have a space-eating big who can get you easy buckets. This team does not get easy points. It doesn't get to the free throw line. Jaylen and Jason are more, apt to take jumpers than to attack the rim. And there's been times Jaylen has attacked the rim and gotten, 10 free throws in a game, but not often, especially not in this playoff series. But I think if you're going to play this style, guys, you got to have elite shooters. And what happened this year is they didn't really have elite shooters. You had Peyton Pritchard. Derek White had a poor shooting year. Sam Hauser was streaky. Jason would like to fancy himself as a three-point shooter, but he's shooting 34%. Last year, he shot 32% in his return. He's not. He's a below-average three-point shooter, although the shot looks pretty. And then Jaylen's never been a high-level three-point shooter either. So you're asking those guys to make threes when they're top. I think they were top 8 or 9 this year on percentage, and number 1 or 2 or something on attempts. So they're taking a lot, but they're not necessarily as efficient as you'd like, especially when that's your primary way to score. And as we saw in the Philadelphia series, they just missed them. 13 for 49 in one game, 13 for 50 in another. I mean, it's just embarrassing. You got to do something else, especially that Philadelphia game, the Game 7. I feel like if Peyton Pritchard hits that side corner three and they go up 2, that shifts everything. Because Philly was really feeling, they were blowing that game. Philly hit 4 shots in the fourth quarter, and 2 of those were the Maxey layups. So they were ready to be beaten. The Celtics just couldn't hit a shot.
So now, after the dust settles, what does Brad Stevens do? He's got 2 options. One, he can make a really big trade to flip over the roster, or he can, pick around the edges while staying under the luxury tax. Which way do you think he's going to go?
I think they've got to take advantage of this Tatum Brown window because, in my opinion, if you win one title with this, that's okay. That's, to me, you got to win 2 titles at least with this iteration of Tatum and Brown. That makes their partnership like, yeah, this was worth it. 1, because the biggest regret from the Garnett, Pierce, Allen was they only won 1 title and they blew a Game 7 in another. If that group wins 2 titles in 5 years, then they go down in history. So I think Tatum and Brown, you got to get another title out of this group. So I think you've got to make the necessary changes and additions to go for it next year because they're not getting any younger, and this league is getting younger and it's getting better. And this draft is coming up, and you got a bunch of guys coming into this league, and you got the Cooper Flags, and you got the Banzas, you got all these guys coming in, and it's going to be where the Celtics are going to have to flip this over eventually. So you got to take advantage. So I don't think they move Jaylen Brown, but I do think they consider everybody else but Jason and Jaylen getting a legitimate big man, getting more athletic. I think we saw in this series when they played against guys like Maxey and Edgecombe, they did not have the athleticism to compete with those guys.
Is Peyton Pritchard on the table, do you think? It seemed to be he would be the most desirable trade piece.
No, I don't think so. He's a complete bargain at his. I think he's done everything he's asked. I think Derek White's a guy they might consider. Do you trade, Derek will be 32 this summer. Do you trade high on Derek? Do you, anticipate that he'll get it back maybe next year and he'll become a better offensive player, because his struggles really impacted the team throughout the season. And if he hits more shots, they might win 60 games, right? They might have a shot at the number one seed. As we saw, getting that number one seed probably makes all the difference in whether they're in the playoffs now, because they faced Orlando instead of Philadelphia, and then they'd be facing Cleveland. So their whole path would have been different if they win a couple of more ball games. So I think Derek White's someone they consider, maybe Sam Hauser, because I think you have to change. I don't think you can do the 3-point, the run and shoot thing again with the 3-pointers. I think you've got to have another interior scorer. Philadelphia did not fear anything in the paint that the Celtics brought. And as we saw last night, the Knicks just pounded the Sixers in the paint and, beat them by 40.
All right, what can you take us through what you know about the decision for Tatum not to play?
I think Tatum tweaked something in Game 6, but I think he told Joe, "Hey, I can play. I'm good. Let me just get a day of rest." I think he came to the arena Saturday morning and felt some soreness, and the team said, "You know what? This might be a byproduct of overcompensation for the Achilles. You're not going to play." And I don't think it was in his hands. I don't think Jason liked missing Game 7, and I know people are a little upset that he was kind of joking with Embiid after the game. And no one on that team seemed particularly broken up about this loss, and that was kind of mystifying. That guy, we had a good season, and hey, Joe was kind of, hey, what else do you want me to do here? They blew this series, let's be honest. Philadelphia came back and won, but they blew this series with no Game 6 adjustments after blowing Game 5, and then that starting lineup in Game 7. So there was a lot of things that the Celtics did wrong. But with Tatum, I think it was their decision, the organization, to pull him out and not risk it, give him a couple of days off, and maybe he might have come back for a Game 2 against the Knicks.
You just brought it up briefly, Gary, and we're almost out of time, but nothing more mystifying than that starting lineup in Game 7. My jaw was on the floor when I saw what was out there. What did you think when it was happening?
I thought it was a gesture of like, hey, let's mix it up. Let's try to confuse Philadelphia. But Philadelphia was not confused, and they ended up going down 17-6, and you lost the game by 9. So you blew the game in the first quarter. That was a game, guys, that they could not fall behind by 15 points. They had to stay close and try to nip it at the end. And they ended up almost doing that, but they chased the whole way. Like, that starting lineup pretty much blew them the game because they couldn't score. None of the guys, the 6 guys he put in, hit a basket. And that's just not playing them earlier, not giving them reps, not going to the depth that got you there. And I don't know why the rotation was tightened so much, but I think that Mazzulla's got to go back in the offseason, and him and Brad have to do some serious, hard conversations about playoff coaching, because this is the third time in 4 years that Mazzulla's gotten out coached in the playoffs.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure that Philadelphia was very confused. They said, when did we revert to the G League? I don't understand what's going on here.
Confused that they didn't know who a couple of those guys were.
Yeah, we're so much more talented than the people they put on the court. I don't know how to handle this. I'm blowing by these guys so easily. It's a very strange, interesting strategy. All right, Gary, Great stuff. Love to talk to you as the offseason unfolds. Gary's the best. Read all his stuff in the Boston Globe, including the article about the window for Jaylen and Jason that he had mentioned. Thank you, Gary.
Thanks, guys.
All right, appreciate it. Gary Washburn from the Boston Globe. We'll be back in just a moment. It's never changed. It's never changed. It's the same thing over and over and over and over. It's just never good. It wasn't funny the first time.
Toucher and Hardy, mornings on the Sports Hub.
Yesterday, Roman Anthony hurt his wrist, his right wrist. He had a check swing where he hurt his wrist. The X-rays were negative. He is in Boston today. He'll be coming to Boston today to get an MRI and see Dr. Matthew Liebman, the team's hand specialist. Do you think if you go see Dr. Matthew Liebman, his office is adorned with Red Sox memorabilia?
I think yes. I think specifically he works for the team, yes.
Well, no, I don't. You don't think he has his own practice? He's the hand specialist that only works with the Sox. There's no one else that he works with?
I was reading
Jonathan.
this morning at the team hand specialist. That's the way it was.
Yeah, so they probably have a guy that they go to who specializes in hands. I don't think that he makes a living. He got a doctorate in that specific specialty and only works with the Boston Red Sox.
Well, if you put it that way,
moron.
it sounds kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, like what? So like once a year he has a patient?
That's it?
Yeah, I listen to this guy. First of all, he's never been anywhere.
He's got a very specialized practice.
Never been anywhere? Anywhere?
Well, you've never been to a doctor's office where they have a bunch of stuff hanging around at teams and it's because someone from the team goes there? It's
That's
like the sketchy sandwich shop that was in a weird neighborhood in Newton.
No,
and I
thought that was Needham.
No, that was in Newton.
Okay.
And they gave me very strange looks. Like, why are you in here?
What was the place in Needham we kept going by that was
I don't know,
never
but why
open?
don't you change the subject again? So I was in there, and they would all stare at me, and I was... And then they had all this Euclid stuff up. Like,
yeah.
Apparently Euclid had been in there once, and ever since that day, they didn't want anyone else to come in there again.
In the Uke shop.
Oh, was that the Eagle Deli?
No. Why would I say the Eagle Deli was in a weird neighborhood? The Eagle Deli's in.
Okay. I was just trying to remember.
You just keep stepping in it.
No, there was a Man
versus
Food where Euclid showed up at this new.
Yeah, that was Eagle Deli. Okay. What do you do? You're reminding me too much of my father.
Oh, sorry.
Oh.
Turn on the TV. I want to watch
is.
Fox News.
There it is.
You do all the research. He does all the research required that I don't have time to do. He studies it, is what he said.
You did say at the beginning of the show you're going to have a short fuse, so I did step in, and my apologies.
I don't know if that was a short fuse. Was it, Hardy?
A little bit.
He irritated you a little quicker than normal. He's irritating, and you were right to be irritated, but it happened quickly.
Yeah. It's
Quicker.
It's fair enough. My father is in town for a long time. It's a lot.
What's tomorrow? I know you got the game today.
Nothing. Tomorrow they're gone. Tomorrow they're gone for the day.
Oh, that's right. So you got
down to Rhode
It's
Island.
really Thursday. It's the only day you got to fill.
Right, and that's not difficult. It's just we went 3 days without an argument, and then yesterday happened.
Yeah.
Now nothing was terrible, but it's just I think I unpeeled a little bit of the onion and found out that my father says things almost as a defense mechanism, because I used to just think he was way smarter than me and like knew way more about stuff than I did, but his argument was so unnecessary and parroting. He was just parroting.
Yeah, he's just ripping from the
ripping
Breitbart
from
headline.
well, not even. He was just like talking points and like weird like little jargon that he was just throwing out. And then he went back to like he was just exhausted by the even the notion of having this conversation with me because he was so much better informed than I am. And then I started thinking, well, there's a lot of people that I don't even know what he believes. I honestly don't. It's never gotten that far. It's just this sanctimonious, better than me, smarter than me thing that he has. And it usually revolves around politics. which we don't talk about. You don't. How often I don't talk about? I talk about politics in almost a societal way. I don't talk about the issues.
Oh,
of the
no.
day.
And like your position on them. No, we don't do that.
No. And so, like, it's not hard for me not to talk about politics at all. If you weren't listening at the beginning of the show, all that happened was I saw the market had gone down almost a couple points, and then like an idiot, I said something must have happened. So I went to the New York Times, and the first thing on the New York Times was United Arab Emirates claim attack from Iran with drone attack from Iran or something. And I made the rookie mistake of reading that aloud.
He did not like the wording of that headline.
And it wasn't that I editorialized or I said anything. I literally read the headline, and that was it. It didn't have Trump's name in it. It didn't have anything. It's just that they claimed, and he got fit to be tied that about the egregious error of saying claimed. And then when you think, you know what's bothering me is that it was such a dumb thing for him to say. Like, he doesn't know. First of all, he didn't know that it was from the New York Times. Second of all, like, he doesn't know that they have to get, and then it said that Iran hadn't confirmed that they're the ones that attacked. So he doesn't understand that it's not like that particular article is not the one to be pointing at saying, look at the way they're positioning this. This is just, they needed it verified. Like, it wasn't verified yet. So you like your news unverified? Like, and that, how is that even a political statement? It's just that the United Arab Emirates were attacked by allegedly attacked by Iran. Not that they were allegedly attacked, that the attack was allegedly from Iran.
It's just irritating, much like you're irritated by John. It's irritating for someone to say anything about the news or about current events who hasn't done the research. He's done the research. You haven't.
No, I haven't.
So when you,
as a matter of fact,
he's proud of
when
that.
you start babbling your BS,
which is reading a innocuous, benign headline,
and
from
he's
the New
forced
York
to
Times.
suffer through it, he's going to snap. I'm with him. I want him in here on Thursday.
All right, so there's all these like losers that go to Newton Center to protest on Saturdays. Like, this is like 98% Democrat. Like, I don't know what you're protesting Trump. How brave? Like, on the streets of Newton in Massachusetts. That's going to swing the election. And so
you're going to change people's minds.
So obviously this is a fool's errand, right? But whatever. But my dad goes, they're suffering from Trump derangement syndrome. And I'm just like you're just saying, like, you're so uninteresting. Like, call them names, but don't just call them. We're all calling them names.
Why don't you research what the Trump derangement syndrome is, and that way you'll be more qualified to debate him on that.
Okay,
subject.
I'll go to True Social and throw a dart at one of the posts and see if I can find it. No, I saw that when Rob Reiner died. That's why he said he died while he was murdered, was Trump derangement syndrome.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I do know what that is. It's just like, you couldn't have just said, like, what losers are these pieces of garbage. You had to say Trump derangement syndrome, which is just like you're imitating a guy on TV. A very unclever use of words. I would have taken politically incorrect words as well over that. I would have taken anything.
Actually enjoyed those.
Yeah, like slow or something. You say something like I would have taken that 100 times.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. He's bothering me. All right. So
is he listening?
There's no way he's up. He sleeps 24. He sleeps 20 hours a day. There's no way he's up. All right. Well, and if he is, he knows he's bothering me. That's all. I mean, what are you going to do?
Have you ever said something about him that he actually heard and brought to your attention later?
I'm not of the mind that he listens to this show. My mother does. I don't think he does.
Okay.
He doesn't seem to have. I do talk for a living. He seems to have a very little opinion of that. I've made a lot of money talking.
Yeah.
But to him, the talk is cheap.
Whenever you talk, you sound like an idiot.
Yeah, you don't talk about interesting stuff.
No,
that's your problem.
That's kind of the deal. All right, We'll be back in just a moment.